6 out of the 8 people killed on Tuesday night were of Asian descent.
Wait, what about the 2 that weren't Asian? We're still not allowed to kill them, right?
And the serpent could fire, wielder the flame of honor.
Killer's motive. These facts are clear. 6 out of the 8 people killed on Tuesday night were of Asian descent.
All aboard the race guilt train. Over here on the right is when you told a black joke in the 3rd grade. Over here on the left is when you never once thought about your own race. I mean, at least they're not dividing by sex anymore.
7 were women.
To the one man who died, we've got no tears left for you. Sorry, we're all out.
The shootings took place in businesses owned by Asian Americans.
They'll never mention that these women were whores. They essentially were women who sold their body to gain power, which I hear is a great way to become vice president.
The shootings took place as violent hate crimes and discrimination against Asian Americans has risen dramatically over the last year and more.
Oh yeah, I saw all that hatred on the Asians. They were being punched. Old men were punched. But by which community? I saw videos. Which community was that? Basically, they found the one white shooter again. And even though he said that he had a sexual addiction, leftists love sexual addiction. They love porn. They love blasting porn and prostitution everywhere. This is their idea of progress, of course. Basically, if God forbids it, they're all for it. God says one man, one woman, get married before you have sex, do not lust, and the Democrats are like, all those rules are out. So even though this guy said that he shot them because of a sexual addiction, frustration over a sexual addiction, they found their one white shooter, and that adds up to racism.
In fact, over the past year, 3,800 such incidents have been reported, 2 of 3 by women. Everything from physical assaults to verbal accusations. And it's all harmful. And sadly, it's not new.
Yes, it's not new. Like just 1 year ago, Trump was trying to stop Asians from being discriminated against in Ivy League colleges. That they launched a huge investigation, and that investigation is still going, right? Here's the New York Times. The Justice Department drops suit claiming Yale discrimination in admissions. The Trump administration had claimed that the school's practices hurt white and Asian American applicants, violating the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This is February 3rd. That's during the Biden administration. The Justice Department on Wednesday withdrew a lawsuit against Yale University that charged it was discriminating against Asian American and white applicants, reversing a key element of the Trump administration's efforts to undermine race-based college admissions. Its action on Wednesday suggested that the Biden administration might be prepared to take sharply different policies, more racist policies regarding affirmative action.
Racism is real in America.
Primarily in your party, and you don't care. And racism is also real. It is a human fallen trait. The human heart is fallen. So all human beings of any ethnic background will be tempted to perform racism. So not only is there racism against every minority, there will be an exact same amount of racism against whites. White women told to stop the cultural appropriation of wearing hoop earrings because they are the result of oppression and exclusion of people of color. 29 stupid things white people do, that what we can do instead. Check your privilege. Clothes white people shouldn't wear. How to plan a wedding as a white person without appropriating. Here's stupid white people. Over here is stuff white people like yoga, tacos, and pretending the white supremacy that feels comfortable. Why I wouldn't see 12 Years a Slave with a dirty white person. I don't know what to do with good white people. That's a good problem to have. Dear white people, please don't complain about going home for Thanksgiving. Geographers warn we shouldn't use research conducted by straight white men. Professors want academia to stop citing straight white men. From white trash to white lash. What do white people want? Grenfell Rowe, as Labor MP, suggests white upper-middle class man should not have been hired to lead inquiry. Tim Roxborough's travel bugs, why white men shouldn't hire motorbikes on Southeast Asian holidays. White is just wrong for skin, a kind of mutation. I'm starting to think Kamala's right. Maybe America is really racist. Nah, what am I saying? She's a moron. If she says it, you automatically know it's wrong. America's not racist. And there are a few academics writing all these anti-honky theories. And who cares? They say that we're screwed up because of our lack of melanin. You know what? This is something that every person who's a victim of racism should do. Number one, do not be a victim. I'm not a victim. Eat me. I do not care what you think of my skin color. I don't care what you say about what a white person should or shouldn't do. I'm going to do what I know is right to do. I do not care what you project on me because of my height, my weight, my skin color, my sex. But I do feel bad for the white guy that was shot at that massage parlor because he ain't getting no sympathy from anyone. Oh, I wasn't contacted by Bozo Biden or Commie Harris, brother of Atlanta spa shooting victim, lashes out at Biden for playing politics after shooting. Here's a woman and a minority. She looks like a victim of racism. Current aide becomes eighth accuser of Governor Cuomo's inappropriate advances and alleged harassment. Is there a pretty woman remotely near Cuomo that he hasn't inappropriately approached? Of course, this is happening right under the Democrats' nose, and they will not show any strong language against Cuomo because they do not care about women and they do not care about minorities.
In the 1940s, as Japanese American soldiers defended our nation, more than 120,000 Japanese Americans were forced to live in internment camps, an obvious and absolute abuse of their civil and human rights.
And yet, they're one of the most prosperous and successful minority groups in America. How do you explain that? The Japanese were treated with abject racism in the 1940s, and yet their test scores are always higher. They are incredible academics. They have incredible discipline. Their culture practices discipline from a very young age. Average Asian students study twice as long as other students. And guess what? Their test scores are higher because they read freaking books. But you won't bring that out. You have to make it sound like there's something to do with their skin color. And your administration, the Bidens are the one that called off Trump's investigation on race-based policies that were pushing Asians out of Yale. You did this, and you do not care. And you serve a President Biden who put his hand in the pants of one of his assistants, and you said that you believed her. You don't care, and I'm laughing at you.
We will always speak out against violence, hate crimes, and discrimination wherever and whenever it occurs.
Shh.